guest again is Mr. Arun Anand. Mr. Arun Anand is a very well esteemed writer, research scholar, and also he has been quoted by various newspapers and research journals in the world for his excellent write-ups and uh, research-based articles. And also, he has been very regularly appearing on various TV networks in India and in the world. Mr. Arun Anand, welcome. As you know, that Bangladesh has now from this morning actually has started, Yunus regime has started forming a kind of the Islamic revolution army. And as a counterterrorism specialist, how do you see these groups posing any threat to the region, particularly India and the world?
Yeah, I think because this Islamic Revolutionary Army, which is being made in the name of a kind of anti-discrimination student movement. So this move has exposed basically that this so-called anti-discrimination student movement was not actually a student movement, but it was driven by Pakistan's ISI and the radical Islamists. And now this Islamic Revolutionary Army, so it will be a grave threat to Bangladesh because it will be kind of a parallel organization running to the Bangladesh army. Second, it will have an impact on the regional security, and it will have serious implications for India also because all the terrorist organizations or radical Islamist organizations which have been backed by Pakistan, so all of them have ultimately trained their guns on India, and they have sent their trained cadres to carry out terror activities in India. And we have seen that happening with Ansarullah Bangla team also. So they had sent, and so this I think will have grave implications for global security also. And just like Pakistan has become a key exporter of terrorism across the world, so it could make Bangladesh also a key exporter of terrorism across the world.
As we know that Yunus is in power for 4 months now. It's the fourth month, and there is quite speculation that he may not be having good term with President Trump. Now it's just 19 days from today. Considering this factor, still Yunus is vigorously pushing forward his agenda, starting from formation of Islamic Revolution Army to meeting Sheba Sharif, talking about uh, minimizing differences between Dhaka and Islamabad. I mean, what is the reason behind such confidence of Yunus when he knows that he may have trouble with Trump, or do you think he has been able to somehow solve that issue with Trump?
I don't think he has been able to solve this issue with Trump, and I do not think that Trump is a kind of personality that he's going to let one of the biggest puppets of the Democrats rule in this part of the world because Bangladesh has got huge strategic importance for as far as regional security is concerned, and as we have earlier discussed also that China is a major player in Bangladesh, so Bangladesh is a significant country for United States, though many of us tend to think at times that because it is the US and the West, they have got too busy with wars and there are a couple of wars which are going on. Like one is Russia and Ukraine, and another between Israel and Hamas. So, but ultimately, the Trump administration, they have also said that they're going to dismantle the so-called US deep state, which has actually installed Yunus here. So, and they have already, announced Tulsi Gabbard being there, and we have seen that how Tulsi Gabbard has been targeted so that no her appointment cannot get approval through through the Congress and the Senate committees. So that's why Yunus had was on the verge of declaring ISKCON a terrorist organization. You have explained it very well earlier also, and we have had discussion also. And as various sources have confirmed that the move to target ISKCON was specifically to target Tulsi Gabbard because Tulsi Gabbard is a follower of ISKCON. And if ISKCON was declared a terrorist organization, then there could have been problem in terms of her appointment in Trump administration getting approval from House committees, as she is known to be an ardent follower of ISKCON, which they would say that she's associated with a terrorist organization. So this shows that actually Yunus is not confident, but he's under tremendous pressure and he's desperate. And he had not expected that Trump would come back to power. So the agenda which he had to fulfill over the next 2 3 years, the task which he was given by the Biden administration and the U.S. deep state. So now he has to do that within a couple of months because after Trump's victory was announced. So and now he has time up to till 20th of January. So I think the frantic activity which we are witnessing is not an outcome of his confidence, but it is an outcome of the tremendous pressure of his masters, who had put him here as a puppet, and the homework which he was given, the task which he was given, he has to carry that out. So that is what he is trying to do, and that's why there is suddenly so much of activity which we are witnessing.
We know that there are various counterterrorism organizations in the world, for example, APIs. In India, also, you have NIA and ATS and various other organizations. And we never heard that any of those organizations has ever been disbanded. But in Bangladesh, Yunus is now talking about disbanding a rapid action battalion, which is a elite force. He also wants to disband Directorate General of Forces Intelligence, Military Intelligence, Army Intelligence, or let's say it's the Defense Intelligence. So why Yunus wants to disband such organizations or entities which actually have been fighting, successfully fighting terrorism and jihadism?
I think it has less to do with Yunus is just a puppet, basically, and it's the US deep state and the Pakistan's ISI and the Pakistani military establishment which wants to disband it, and they want to basically turn Bangladesh into Afghanistan. See, these are the these institutions or these forces which are getting disbanded. They are the ones who have been fighting radical Islamists, who have been fighting Islamic terrorism, who have kept them under control. So once they are disbanded, then it will be an open playing field for the radical Islamists. And as I said, no, Bangladesh will become a hub of terror activities, and it will become a key exporter of, and it will become a failed state. That is the revenge which Pakistan wants to take from Bangladesh for getting separated from it, for becoming an independent nation, and for and one of the key outcomes of this 1971 war was the humiliation of Pakistani army, as 93,000 of their soldiers had to surrender, and that's a blot which no army can wash away, whatever PR they might do. So this is there has been a lot of that's why right since the Bangladesh came into existence, so through Jamaat Pakistan had become active. And by the time we had reached, 1975 or so, so coups had started happening in Bangladesh. So all this was Pakistan's kind of, you can say, heartburn of 1971. And they want to take this revenge, and that's why they want to turn Bangladesh either into like Pakistan, which is a failed state, or if I say even worse can happen, it can become, like Afghanistan. So I think this is why they are forcing US to Yunus to disband all these things. What is, and the Biden administration, of course, because it is full of vokes, and they also have a very close proximity with uh, Pakistan. So they also are kind of turning a blind eye away from this. So we can only hope that post 20th of January we can see a turnaround in the situation.
Initially, what we understand that the activities of Yunus is indirectly or directly going against the interest of India. Recently, one of the top advisors to Yunus, Mahfouz Abdullah, he publicly declared of invading several states inside of India in the northeast. So it was clearly a violation of international law. But why India is not taking an action? Is New Delhi waiting for Donald Trump?
I think India is, to some extent, India's, certain things which are done in international affairs. So sometimes they're not spoken about in public. So there are certain things which are happening. Especially we have seen the way India has put pressure on Yunus government as far as the violence against Hindus and other minorities was concerned. Also, a large number of political people who were being targeted by Bangladesh. So they have found refuge in India, and I believe they are being looked after. So it's kind of ironically a repeat of pre 1971 kind of a situation, but was happening in East Pakistan. Then another thing is that see, Junu's administration is doing this, and his close associates they are trying to provoke India. That's what the sense which I am getting. They want India to do, give some knee-jerk reaction and want India to become a major party in the current turmoil which is going on in Bangladesh. But India is keeping its patience till I think 20th of January. India is also expecting that there is going to be a major turnaround because we know that there is a great equation between Trump and Modi, and Trump administration has a lot of Indian origin officers, which are going to hold key positions, and especially in case of national security apparatus. So I think India doesn't want to get provoked. One, and second, India is working through the diplomatic channels. It has also moved a number of countries, other countries. It has been in touch. Its diplomats have approached a number of other countries, and they've talked about basically what is happening in Bangladesh. So it's trying to mobilize the international community to work on this, and it doesn't want to get dragged into it. It doesn't want to give any knee-jerk reaction into it because then it will be like playing to the tunes of Yunus. So that's what they want. They want Bangladeshi people to turn against India, and for that India needs to give some knee-jerk reaction, and that's why they are trying to provoke India. But India understands this game. So India is not giving any knee-jerk reaction. However, behind the scenes, there's a lot of diplomatic maneuvering which is going on. And that's why we see, actually knee-jerk reactions, not from India, but from the UNIS administration. The recent statements which came on 16th of December, which is celebrated as, Vijay Divas in India, and which commemorates the formation of Bangladesh and the victory in the liberation war. So we have seen that how certain senior officials in Bangladesh, close associates of Yunus, so they took pot shots at India, but India has not reacted to it. So it is keeping patience. So I think that's why we don't see too much of reactions of India in public. So optically, India is not doing much, but behind the scenes, there's a lot of things which are going on.
My last question is about Myanmar. Arakan army has already captured last I mean, it is on the other side of the Naf River. And with this reality, now there are clear signs that Myanmar army is incapable of fighting the Arakan army. I mean, they are absolutely incapable. And there are some rumors that Arakan army may declare the Arakan state as an independent country. But declaring Arakan as an independent country, meaning the 500,000 or 600,000 Rohingyas still in the Arakan, they will be driven out, and meaning the 12 lakh Rohingyas, 1.2 million, who are already in Bangladesh, and almost 9 million Rohingyas were already in India. So there is not a great prospect that they will be accepted by Arakan army. So with Arakan army, say, reaching their final goal and emerging as an independent country, what happens to Rohingyas? Are they going to now become a permanent liability to Bangladesh and India, number one? And number two, do you think there would be some provocations from the Rohingya camps inside Bangladesh with the help of or support of Yunus Islamic and jihadists?
Yeah, so the second thing which you said, I'll talk about that first. Of course, I think they want Rohingyas to come into play, and we have seen that Pakistan's ISI, so they have been recruiting Rohingyas in large numbers. They are training them, and Rohingyas, as we have talked earlier, also, so they are a very easily available prey for agencies like ISI because they are kind of having a very they look at their future very bleakly, and they don't living in refugee camps which are overflowing. There's no facilities, and they are kind of basically, it's like orphans, what we call. But so they are being trained by ISI, and they are a major recruitment ground. They are the refugee camps of Rohingyas. In India, also a number of Rohingyas have been caught. They were indulging in terror activities, and they were running modules. The central government of India, it had submitted an affidavit in 2022 in Delhi High Court. I've mentioned about it earlier also, that where it categorically said that Rohingya Muslims are a grave potential threat to India's national security. So this is how India looks at it. And as far as Bangladesh is concerned, I think it is already in turmoil, and then now you have a situation on your border at Myanmar, where there is a civil war, and there's a lot of uncertainty which is being there. And I think whether Arakan province is declared as an independent state or not, or as an independent country or not, it doesn't matter. The civil war in this civil war anyway, the 5 or 6 lakh Rohingyas, Muslims who are living in Arakan, so they are going to, most of them are going to cross over and come to Bangladesh and become a prey to Pakistan's ISI. And Yunus, being hand in glove with Pakistan's ISI, has the potential to ensure that these Rohingya Muslims also come into play, and this will become an international issue, because the issue of Rohingya Muslims, the United Nations is also seized of this fact, and then they will be projected, as we have seen that uh, people are being as we have seen that media has projected, certain sections of media has projected that how people in Gaza are suffering. So even Hamas terrorists, so they are being shown as victims. So then this new international game will begin, where Rohingyas will be projected as victims. So I think it has grave potential security it's a grave security risk for Bangladesh. Within Bangladesh, there can be an implosion on this thing, given the number of Rohingya Muslims which are there in the refugee camps. I think it's about 1.2 million, as you rightly mentioned. So I think I hope that by the time Yunus is replaced, so nothing serious happens on this front. But it's like sitting on a powder keg, and it can explode anytime.
We all are giving our fingers crossed for well anticipated, well expected good news. And Mr. Arun Anand, thank you so very much for always being so gracious in giving your
Thank you,
precious
sir.
time to us. And it is always a great pleasure. And I learn a lot from you, actually.
Thank you.
And thank you very much.